Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to some and present to others not only a brilliant man, but a very good friend of mine who is absolutely brilliant in scope and knowledge and wisdom. None other than the great Raynard Teddy Bear Jackson. Good evening, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here tonight. Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson.
Yes, it is.
That's it. It's a tremendous honor to have you here tonight. Sir, I just played a clip where Tulsi Gabbard came out of nowhere with a left hook resembling the kind of left hook that Joe Frazier found in the 14th round with Muhammad Ali. And went down. No, it was Foreman. Down goes Frazier. I gotta ask you, on that night, what were your thoughts regarding Tulsi Gabbard and Kamala Harris?
Well, I knew Harris's candidacy was through at that point. Tulsi Gabbard eviscerated her, and what I loved about it, Gabbard didn't raise her voice, didn't use disrespectful words. She just dissected her voting record and asked her to explain what she's saying on the campaign trail versus what she actually did when she was in office. It was the most brutal takedown I've ever seen in a political campaign. It was something that students of political science should study. That was just one of the most marvelous takedowns in the history of politics.
Oh my God, you haven't seen something that bloody since a cage match with WWE. It was brutal. It was freaking brutal. And there's another one where she does another takedown of her in a second matchup. And from that point on, Kamala Harris got dirty with her and started to get people from The View like Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the media to attack Tulsi Gabbard as a traitor. Can we expect the very same of Kamala Harris or at this time in this election?
Well, I would expect Harris to attack Trump.
Yeah, well, Pence or somebody in a nasty form.
Well, yeah, but that's probably the biggest reason Biden picked her is she's going to be the attack dog for Biden against Trump, and Biden is going to try to stay above the fray, which is not going to work in this political climate. But yeah, see, Harris is the type of person, and I've written several columns over the years about her, that you get under her skin, you get her emotional, she will say some crazy, stupid things, and Trump understands that, and he's going to goad her into becoming emotional, and she becomes very erratic when you get under her skin, as Tulsi Gabbard showed. And yeah, but let me tell you something. Trump is a master at counterpunching, and if she thinks she's not going to be able to go after Trump and without getting a nuclear bomb shot back at her, she's sadly mistaken.
Joe Biden, sitting in a basement somewhere in Delaware, has to pick between Susan Rice, Kamala Harris, and Pocahontas. At this point, he can't pick Pocahontas, and he can't pick Susan Rice because Durham is about to release a report in September, blowing them all out of the water as treasonous. So he's stuck with Kamala Harris. Didn't Kamala Harris accuse him of racism?
Not only racism, but rape as well. See, you all forget about that. Remember when she said about these women who said Biden raped her or touched her inappropriately? Kamala Harris said, "I believe the women." And I mean, Trump is going to have a field day with that. But also, of course, being the genius that I am and being the only genius on this earth,
Yes.
I've had my sources tell me earlier this evening that Biden wanted to pick Whitmer from the governor of Michigan. He was afraid to because of the racial thing, because he got along well with Whitmer. They are more alike than any other candidate in the field. The issue that prevented him from picking Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, was because he was afraid if he didn't pick a black woman, the black community would sit on their hands and not support him. So here's a white governor that Biden wanted to pick but was afraid to, so therefore he picked her because she was black.
And
now that's a story the media should cover, but they're not.
They're not going to cover that. And I want you to tell everyone on the air, because there's a deeper dive to the Michigan situation, and it's Detroit, where there are signs, not that they're going to come out and vote for Donald Trump because of the economy, but they may stay home. And I want you to could speak to that, why that is important.
Without question. Well, one of the things Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, promised 2 years ago when she was running for governor, and again, remember, liberal Democrats promise black folks the world, and once they get in office, they get amnesia. Remember now, Whitmer has been governor for 2 years now. And guess what? The water crisis in Michigan has gotten worse, not better. Mm-hmm. With her as governor, she promised to make Flint, Michigan a priority as far as cleaning up the lead out of the water system and all that stuff. She's done nothing. All the promises she made to the black community in Michigan, she's done nothing but nothing. And so the black community was already souring on her. Then you talk about her heavy-handed policies with the virus there, as far as shutting people down and telling them where they can and can't go, while her husband is calling people up saying, I'm the governor's husband, I want my boat out of dry dock, etc. So she did not have good relations with the black community anyway, and so Michigan can very well be one of the states Trump can win this time, because I think he lost by less than a point Michigan last time, and black folks are not feeling any love from the governor there. So all you need is 10 to 15, 20,000 blacks either not to vote or to vote the other way, and the state goes to Trump. So they should be very concerned about Michigan.
Can you give them that number again? Because a lot of conservatives who tune in and watch this program are not as in-depth on these particular numbers. They believe that it's already in the loss column. Can you tell them the significant number that you're talking about?
No, like I said, you're talking about 10, 15, 20,000 black voters who either sit at home.
That's it.
Or they vote Trump or Republican, and the state switches from Democrat to Republican.
Exactly. Kamala Harris was to save not only Michigan, but to try to save Pennsylvania and to try to edge into Ohio. And it's going to...
No, Ken. I disagree with you.
Okay.
Yes, Kamala Harris's pick had nothing to do with what state she could bring. This was all about her being black.
Oh, yeah.
She brought no other value to the table.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You needed Columbus, Ohio. You needed Philadelphia, because what I'm saying here, Raynard, is, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see anybody on my block that's, excited about being invited to the block party when Joe Biden shows up. You know what I'm saying? Black people are not excited about Biden, and I don't know, but black people were not excited about Kamala Harris either. They don't even think Kamala Harris, quote unquote, is black.
Right. Well, it's interesting you say that. she did not. Kamala Harris has very little relationship with the black community. She's a member of the Delta. She went to Howard University, but you never heard her talking about that until she got the presidential bug.
Mm. Although,
and that's another storyline that the media is not going to play up, that the Trump folks should play up on. She has no relationship with the black community.
none whatsoever. And in fact, the only thing that she has in common with black men is that she went down on a San Francisco mayor. That's about it.
Well, she was the San Francisco tree.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. You and Dave Milner, the San Francisco tree. There you go. Fallout from this, from the Democrat Party. Do black people think that they're being used right now, Raynard?
Of course, but they are willingly being used. They want to be used. They are allowing themselves to be used because, again, when you look at Kamala Harris's body of work in the political arena, name me one thing she's ever done for the black community. Name me any significant black staffers she surrounded herself with, and the same with Joe Biden. Name me one significant thing in his 50 years of public office that he did for the black community, and name me any blacks that he surrounded himself with over that 50-year period, where if someone could say, hey, as a result of me working for Joe Biden, whether he was a city councilman or a U.S. senator or VP, I'm the success I am today. Show me where these relationships are. And I'm not talking about, Ken, you running to the NAACP and giving a 10-minute speech at their annual convention. Show me where the long-term relationships are. I don't see it with Kamala Harris or with Joe Biden.
Got to ask you tonight, Nancy Pelosi is getting beat up by the left. Can you imagine it? She's getting beat up by the left because she allowed Donald Trump to pull a midnight hour victory from the jaws of defeat by doing an executive order that extended giving $400 in addition to the unemployment that people would receive, zeroing out student loans, making sure that there would be no evictions this year, which black people in the gentrification areas of the world, Washington, D.C., New York, and other places, were concerned about, and has made them come back to the table to agree not to $3 trillion, but $1 trillion in terms of funding the next stimulus. Sir, please explain to me how the heck did Nancy Pelosi lose on this one?
Oh, isn't it amazing, Ken, what happens when conservatives stand on principle and caving in to Pelosi? Isn't that amazing? And I think the credit should be given to Mark Meadows, the new chief of staff to the president, for not caving in, because Mnuchin wanted to fold like an accordion.
Yes, he did.
But Mark Meadows said, no, we're not going to do it. And guess what? The American people are rewarding Republicans for standing on conservative principle, not giving an extra $2 or $3 trillion to state aid to bail out California and New York for total gross mismanagement. So finally, we have some Republicans who are standing up and not worrying about the fallout. They're saying we're right on principle and the people will reward us. Wow, what a novel thought. What a novel thought. And so the Democrats are perfect at giving us. Remember Obama with DACA, amnesty for illegals. He did not have the authority to do what he did, but he signed an executive order. The liberal courts keep upholding it. And now the Republicans are seeing it as taking away something from the liberal. Now, how can you take away something that's illegal, and everyone admits that it's illegal? So Mark Meadows finally understood that, and so Trump signed an executive order. Now, do the Democrats really want to go to court being seen taking away a benefit from their constituency that Trump gave them? It's beautiful. It's a masterstroke of genius.
Absolute genius. I want to ask you in finality here. I know you and I were not invited to 33 33rd in Duval, Southeast, last weekend for the block party, where over 400 people who were invited to the block party via Facebook. Zuckerberg, Hi Hitler Zuckerberg, you're responsible for 21 people getting shot and one dying, and a police officer, off-duty police officer, on ventilation at this point, clutching to her life. You're responsible for that because your system that you use to censor people who are conservative like me, you allowed them to recruit people to come out to an event that was supposed to only have 50 people. 400 people show up, and 3 people break out and shoot all over the place, killing one person, injuring 20 others, 100 shots fired. And the mayor of the city of Washington, D.C. has a press conference with the police chief on Monday, and this is what she says. I can't enforce the law. And the police chief said, I didn't have enough police to enforce the law. How the hell do these Black Lives Matter officials stay in office?
No. I don't know what event you're talking about, Kim, but the event that I heard you describe, that was a peaceful protest.
Oh, I'm sorry. With masks.
But no, without question. And they just happen to have people that are with guns and bombs and all that stuff, but that was a peaceful protest. It's only violent when you Republican and want to go to church.
Exactly.
I mean, can't listen, but again, isn't it amazing that these liberal Democrats, especially black folks, they keep wanting to inject systemic racism into every pathology that's going on when you have a black mayor, a black city council, where you got a white police chief, a black congressman, yet these black folks are in control of all the levers of power in D.C. And yet it's racism's fault, it's Donald Trump's fault, it's the white nationalists' fault. At what point do we say that these leaders are incompetent, if that liberalism is being tried and being convicted of gross negligence in the black community? And when are black folks going to hold them responsible? That's why, Ken, it's hard for me to get emotionally involved with all these situations in Baltimore, Ferguson, New York, LA, because you voted for these people. They claim they got your best interest at heart, and yet now they saying we can't control the police. We don't have funding. We don't have enough policemen. Well, you're standing right next to the mayor who had the authority to increase the budget and spending for police, but they are decreasing the budget, and yet you tell me this is all a result of institutional racism. I'm confused.
I'm confused as well. And I'm tired of black people allowing their children to be used as guinea pigs for Marxism. Every time you look at open cases, unsolved cases, murder cases, you have a mayor, Lori Lightfoot, in Chicago with 466 murders for the year. Raynard, just quickly, we haven't had 466 murders with the Afghanis, the Taliban, and Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. We haven't had 466, yet we got 466, and 80% or more are blacks killing blacks. Tell me, sir, what the hell is going on?
It's institutional racism, and this is all part of the legacy of slavery.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that note. I apologize. I didn't sing from the choir.
You're so bigoted and so cold and callous that you always want to blame us. How can you blame us for pulling the trigger on a gun? If white folks didn't bring the guns into Chicago and D.C., we wouldn't have the guns to shoot. So it's you all's fault for allowing these guns to come into these cities.
And once again, black people are not involved with manufacturing, entrepreneurialism, ownership, stock ownership of gun companies and things. It's just a reminder of how situated we are on the plantation, and how we don't want to move from three hots and a cot in our lifetime. And I will probably get pinged for saying those particular things, but it's exceptionally true that those who buy into the Marxist narrative will soon die from it. Raynard Teddy Bear Jackson, how can people get in contact with you and what you do so greatly for the American people?
Yeah, RaynardJackson.com is my corporate website. The Political Action Committee is Black Americans for a Better Future. So BAFBF.org or Raynard Jackson on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. Black Americans for a Better Future for Facebook, Instagram, and all the political stuff. So I just Google my name. And all the social media sites will pop up, and I'd love to hear from any of your listeners.
Yeah, very quickly, Bonnie Williams, my executive producer, says that Gabbard was the pit bull that Biden needed for his campaign. Why didn't he pick Gabbard?
Oh, because she makes too much sense. She's a very substantive person, and she does not buy into that far left-wing agenda that her party is pushing, which is why they kind of pushed her out of the party. Matter of fact, if Trump is smart, I would come out on the campaign trail and say, hey, if I get reelected, I'm going to put Gabbard in my cabinet, make her Secretary of the Army or Navy or whatever, because she's a part of the military. I would commit to making her part of my cabinet right now and show the American people that they respect someone like Tulsi Gabbard, and that's the type of talent that he wants to surround himself with in his second term.
There you go. I know you listen, President Trump. That's a duty. Take care of it. Raynard Teddy Bear Jackson, we love you, man. Thank you so much for all that you do for America.
All right. Thank you, my friend.
God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, Raynard Teddy Bear Jackson, and I must tell you that we have to take a senseful profit break. We're going to encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to definitely homeschool your children. But I'm going to tell you right now, I know that says August 15, 2017. But this week, ladies and gentlemen, check out Global Student Network. I know without a shadow of a doubt, you all know for a fact that your kids are going to be guinea pigged again by teachers' unions that don't want to teach your kids in the first place. Stop the foolishness. Go with someone who professionally understands how to teach your child online and can teach you at any time. Some children are better in the afternoon than they are in the mornings. Why make your children suffer? If they can learn better in the afternoon and succeed and get straight A's, help them do that. You can do that with Global Student Network. You can also choose Christian education, secular education, Common Core, and non-Common Core education, even a baccalaureate in this particular case for study. There are many options for Global Student Network. Make certain that you choose the network of choice this particular day. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk with you about Gabbard and what she did to really destroy the possibility of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris actually becoming president and vice president. We'll be right back.